Our body is the most important thing in life that we are told to take care of. It allows us to run, talk, play, study, and so many things. And so, the first thing that we should do to take care of our bodies is to eat well. Eating provides us with energy, allowing us to complete tasks that we want to do. Eating healthy and eating good foods is key in improving our health and keeping us moving throughout the day. Within foods, there are things that we call nutrients, which give us said energy. Today, we'll be looking at the different types of nutrients and how they can aid us in being active and being healthy. Nutrients are categorized into two types: macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are nutrients that the body needs in large amounts. Carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, water, they all give us energy and allow us to function. Today we'll only discuss the first three, not water, as it's kind of intuitive about how water is so important to our body. Micronutrients, on the other hand, are nutrients the body needs in smaller amounts. They don't provide energy to the whole body, but they are still needed for the upkeep of our body and for having good health. They're made up of vitamins and minerals. You will probably be familiar with vitamins like vitamin D or B12, which is very important in keeping our blood and nerve cells healthy. Whereas vitamins are organic compounds, minerals are chemical elements, but they are also important for our body's processes. A very common mineral that we intake is calcium through milk. Carbohydrates. Whoops. They are one of the most common and important type of organic compounds. Very commonly, they are like sugar or starch and are used to store energy. They are built up of small repeating units that form bonds with each other to make a larger molecule called monosaccharides. They contain only O2, C2, and H. An example of these is glucose, fructose, etc. However, when monosaccharides bond together, if two monosaccharides bond together, they form a carbohydrate called a disaccharide. An example of disaccharide is sucrose, which consists of the monosaccharides glucose and fructose. A polysaccharide is a complex carbohydrate. They have multiple chains, maybe thousands of them, and they are used to store energy and form structures of living things. One example is cellulose, which is used for cell walls, or starch, which is in potatoes. Lipids are extremely important to a person's diet. They are organic compounds such as fat or oil, and organisms use these to store energy, but they do have other important roles that we'll get into later. They consist of repeating units called fatty acids. And so there are two types of fatty acids: saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids. In saturated fatty acids, the carbon atoms are bonded to as many hydrogen atoms as possible. So these molecules form straight chains, as shown in the diagram, and these straight chains are then able to be packed very tightly, which allows them to store energy in a very compact form. This explains why they are solid at room temperature, and animals commonly use these to store energy. Non-saturated fatty acids or unsaturated fatty acids, on the other hand, require the carbon atoms to not be bonded to as many hydrogen atoms as possible. They are instead bonded to other groups of atoms, and when this occurs, it causes the chains to bend. Because they are bent, they cannot be packed together very tightly, so they are most commonly liquid at room temperature. Plants use unsaturated fatty acids to store energy. An example is olive oil. Lipids may consist of fatty acids alone, or they can contain other molecules as well. Lipids are very important for our diet. They are very important for storing energy and forming cell membranes. They can also supply cells with energy. And there are types of lipids that we call essential fatty acids. These are fatty acids that must be consumed in food. Even though our body can manufacture most of the lipids that we need, these are essential. Essential fatty acids include omega-3 and omega-6. Both of these fatty acids are needed for important biological processes and not just for keeping us active and healthy. Although having lots of lipids is very good, too much lipids can be very harmful. This can lead to a risk of unhealthy weight gain or a risk in cardiovascular disease. So it's important that you are aware of having too many lipids or having too little lipids. And finally, proteins. Proteins are very important to humans. They are very important as they provide us with lots of energy, obviously, but they also have many important roles in the body. They are made up of amino acids, which are the monomers of proteins, right? And so there are 20 different amino acids found in the proteins of living organisms. So small proteins can contain just a few hundred amino acids of these different amino acids, but larger proteins can contain thousands of amino acids. The shape of the protein determines its function, and it can have up to 4 levels of different structures, which provide them with unique properties. And these properties allow proteins to play important roles. For example, transporting items in and out of cells, or receiving signals and providing signals to the cells. They can also catalyze, store energy, defend, and also allow for movement. For example, human red blood cells contain a protein called hemoglobin, which binds with oxygen. And this is what allows blood to carry oxygen from the lungs to cells throughout the bodies. And so through all this, proteins are direly important for our body. There are also 9 amino acids called essential amino acids, which must be consumed in food, like we discussed with the essential fatty acids. So there you have it. Proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, and, well, we didn't talk about water, but water is still pretty important. It's kind of obvious. Water allows us to live. So with all these nutrients in mind, I hope that now you have a better understanding of the nutrients that we take into our body, how they help us, and how they are important for us. Thank you.